In The Witcher, The Quest of Monsters and Men has Geralt decide the fate of a village witch. A powerful monster has been terrorizing the village, and the townsfolk eventually blame the witch not only for the beast's existence, but also for all of their hardships and crimes. A lynch mob forms, hell-bent on killing Abigail, the witch. The Witcher must identify the guilty in order to get rid of the beast. Some things to keep in mind. The game informs the player that the monster is too powerful for any sorcerer to summon. A ritual is used to determine how the beast came to be. It's revealed that the collective hate, greed, and baseness of the village inhabitants created the beast. The Witcher's main objective was to find the criminal organization Salamandra. It was this quest that got him involved in all this. There are 5 main players involved: Abigail, the Reverend, Odo, Mikkel, and Haren. Abigail, the village witch, provides the village with both potions and poisons. Depending on who you ask, the Scoia'tael are a group of non-human rebels or terrorists. Haren Brog.
Greetings to the honourable gentleman.
You are?
Haren Brog, merchant and middleman, at your service.
Haren is a local merchant in the village. He's accused of being a hawker. Hawkers are people who sell weapons and equipment to the Scoia'tael at steep prices. The Scoia'tael rely on them for food, medicine, and weapons. No one else will deal with them. So Hawker made large profits off the Scoia'tael's misfortune. Hawkers are also known to renege on deals and sell out their own clients for bounties. The evidence that Haren Brog is a hawker comes from the quest Strangers in the Night. For some reason, Haren is keeping his merchandise near the riverbank. Monsters called drowners come up from the river at night, and have been ransacking his stock. He hires Geralt to deal with the drowners. After he does, a group of Scoia'tael show up and mistake Geralt for Haren Brog, who the Scoia'tael leader says promised them hawker specialties.
Where's Haren Brog? He promised us some hawker's specialties.
Is Haren Brog the hawker or middleman? Does it make a difference? Well, later on we find that Haren has also been selling goods to the criminal organization Salamandra.
Those crates look familiar, like Haren's goods that I saved from the drowners. The son of a bitch is trading with Salamandra.
Based on this, we can say that he doesn't have any compulsion against selling things to whoever he can. Abigail also accuses Haren of selling out the Scoia'tael to the guards for money.
Haren sold a squirrel to the guards for gold.
When confronted, Haren admits to being a hawker, but claims that Abigail made him do it. He says that Abigail promised to sleep with him if he quote-unquote helped the Scoia'tael, and thus according to him, he had no choice. I say quote-unquote because it's difficult to say that he helped the Scoia'tael when he sold them items at inflated prices. When pressed on this, he claims that there are principles to abide by. So these principles include doing business with criminal organizations that kidnap children, hating non-humans, but selling items to them anyway at unfair prices if you're promised sex.
What are your charges, Haren?
She made me a hawker. She promised herself to me if I helped the Scoia'tael. I detest non-humans, but I had to trade with them.
You've done all right for yourself.
Gold isn't everything. There are principles to abide by.
There isn't any actual evidence that he sold out the Scoia'tael to the guards, however. It could be he did, and Abigail really did trick him into selling to the Scoia'tael. If that's the case, then he may have realized how profitable it is, and also decided to trade with Salamandra for even more money. Or he's just a hawker and he's lying. Even if Abigail promised him sex, he could have said no. It's also worth noting that he lies to Geralt earlier.
I killed the drowners and encountered elves.
Elves? I don't believe I know any elves.
They were expecting you. Who are they?
Scoia'tael. Squirrels, young non-humans, freedom fighters. Those who deal with them are hanged. Betray me and you'll hang too.
I'll keep quiet. If it's dangerous, why do you trade with them?
I have to make a living somehow.
Either way, I did my job.
My crates are safe then? I underestimated you, Witcher. Incidentally, what happened to the elves?
We spoke. They said their entire unit would come back for the rest of the crates.
Are they mad? Dangerous for them to come so close to Vizima. If someone were to report it.
Meaning?
Scoia'tael heads fetch a high price, Witcher. But best forget you know that.
Odo. Odo is the richest person in the Outskirts village. He's often drunk, and he's paranoid about spies. Why would he be so worried about spies? Well, Odo is accused of killing his brother. Odo says that he despises soldiers, except for his brother, who was a soldier. Odo keeps his brother's armor on a stand in his house.
You a soldier?
What's it to you?
I noticed that suit of armor.
My brother's. He fought at Brenner and other places. Oh, I detest soldiers, except my brother.
From the blood and dents, this armor's a warrior's. But this fatso's more familiar with tankard than sword.
If he did kill his brother, then it can be speculated that he buried him in his front yard, presumably not deep enough, resulting in his dog being able to smell it and barking at a particular spot.
That dog seems to be looking for something. Watch those Echinop's thorns, pup. What are you guarding?
There's also the matter of the Echinopsa plants that he hires the Witcher to kill. Echinopsa are violent plant life that only grow in places where crimes have been committed.
Monster plants. Echinops erupt wherever a crime has occurred. They may appear on the barrows of the murdered or where victims have secretly been buried. Such places are damned and best avoided, or a witcher should be hired.
Something to think about.
When Odo is confronted, he admits to the crime. His defense is that Abigail tried to use magic on his brother. But more likely by magic he means Abigail tried to seduce his brother, because she wanted his money, Odo claims. His words suggest that his brother had plenty of money. He continues by saying that his brother rejected Abigail, so she used her actual magic on Odo and had him kill his brother. As a soldier, Odo's brother could easily defend himself against Odo. Geralt makes the point that Odo must have killed his brother in his sleep.
That bitch ruined my life! She cast her spells on my brother, wanted to steal him and his gold. My brother scorned her, so she did the devil's magic on me, used me to kill him! The treachery!
I came across a doll that resembled you in her hut.
I dream of it even now! Her magic committing the murder! She should die!
Your brother was a warrior. You're nothing but a drunk. How could you have killed him unless he was sleeping?
Abigail does have a doll that resembles Odo in her house.
I wonder what this man-shaped doll is for.
Could she be using magic to control Odo? Possibly. Although, to what end? Odo claims that Abigail wanted his brother's money, but look at what Odo's wearing. He's the richest person in the Outskirts, not Abigail. If she wanted the money and could control Odo, she could just have him bring her the money. The local Salamandra leader also says that Odo came to them for advice on how to kill a warrior.
You took your time.
You have something of mine.
No longer, I'm afraid. And you, like your predecessor, you work for rapists and murderers. Enjoying it?
Did you say I work for murderers?
That lice-ridden village hick Odo came to us for advice on how to kill a warrior. We said someone so pathetic could only fight soldiers in dreams.
If Abigail was controlling him, why would she make him go ask for advice? There's also no way of knowing for sure when or why Abigail made the doll. Did she make it before or after Odo's brother died? Did she make it as a means of self-defense? There's no telling what Odo is capable of. The man may have killed his own brother for money. He's definitely a greedy individual. Despite being quite wealthy, he still tries to haggle with Geralt.
I'll see what I can do for 120 orens.
I'll pay 50 orens. Let's drink to that.
120 and not an oren less.
2 weeds for 70 orens.
I said 120.
I need to live. I need to drink. My final offer is 80. Cheers.
Ugh, strong stuff. How about 100?
Deal. One last shot.
And even after the job is done, he still tries to weasel his way out of paying the agreed upon amount.
I've slain the monsters in the garden. Pay up.
You want your 80 orens? Here.
We agreed on 100.
We drank some ale, but my memory rarely deceives me.
Now listen here.
All right, here's your coin. I told you not to slay monsters while drunk at night, but you insisted. You frighten me.
I risk my neck for you and you try to cheat me. Don't forget to tell the Reverend I helped you.
This one isn't in contention. Odo killed his brother. Mikkel. Mikkel is a man from the outskirts that became a city guard, a prestigious position for someone of the outskirts. He is not a particularly educated individual, nor does he show much intelligence or maturity. Depending on who you ask, Mikkel was either romantically interested in a girl named Ilsa, or he raped her. It's possible that it's both. His reaction to the news of Ilsa's death seems genuine, but that doesn't mean he didn't rape her. Geralt mentions a young woman's body in the crypt, and Mikkel immediately jumps to the conclusion that it must have been Ilsa. Why?
Seems the contents of that bottle caused the woman's death. The ghouls came for her remains. I got rid of the ghouls in the crypt.
100 thanks, Master. Here be a month's pay. Oh, the boys will be happy. They plan to search for treasure in the crypt. Take a pic to one of the walls.
I found a young woman's body inside. The ghouls came for her.
Young woman? No, it can't be. My Ilsa, I loved her.
I wouldn't know her name. It appears she poisoned herself.
No, no, no! It was that vile witch! The devil's whore poisoned my Ilsa! No!
I'm sorry for your loss, but I need to know about Salamandra.
They have passes, they do. The only ones. Leave me be. You have the evil eye, you bring bad tidings. Be gone!
Don't forget to tell the Reverend I got rid of those ghouls. Farewell.
Why the assumption that it's Ilsa's dead body in the crypt? Is that where something else happened? Something that may have caused her great pain? Predictably, Mikkel turns around and blames Abigail, and in his grief, turns on Geralt too. Later in the quest, a group of Salamandra thugs take over the local tavern. Once there, you see them surrounding a lady friend of yours, Shani. One of them brings up Ilsa, saying that they should do to Shani what they did to Mikkel's girl.
No! Leave me alone!
Ooh, little dove, cue us a different tune.
Keep your hands off me!
She is feisty. Say, let's do what we did unto Mikkel's girl, Ilsa. What a screamer. You knew too? He likely told you to wait like us. Let's have our way with this little chickie.
On its head, this seems to acquit Mikkel, but not exactly. Earlier in the game, Geralt has Abigail cast a spell on a boy named Alvin. Alvin is a diviner, as she says, and a powerful source of magic. The spell will have Alvin reveal where the beast came from.
Why'd they skin the puppy? Why'd they hurt him? He was gentle, he hurt no one. And the girl from outside the village, she screamed, horribly, unlike any human.
Bad children, torturing the witch's puppy again. Innocent blood, evil faces twisted by drink and desire. Plow her well, show her you're a man. Blood-stained gold, the beast is born!
During the ritual, Alvin says a lot of cryptic words. Among these words, he says, "The girl from outside the village. She screamed horribly, unlike any human. Innocent blood, evil faces twisted by drink and desire." The next part is a quote. "Plow her well, show her you're a man." What can we extrapolate from this? The girl who screamed an innocent blood is Ilsa. Evil faces twisted by drink and desire? A gang of rapists. They were drunk, and the desire part speaks for itself. Unless, of course, drink and desire is speaking of two different parties. The drunkenness part could be referring to the Salamandra thugs, while the desire part refers to Mikkel. Everyone knew he fancied her. Or it could just mean that they were all drunk. But that doesn't exclude Mikkel, mainly because of the following quote, "Plow her well, show her you're a man." Like I said before, Mikkel isn't very intelligent or mature, he's very childlike. I assume that it translates to how he's infatuated with Ilsa as well. Even disregarding that, peer pressure, even when it comes to such a horrific act, can be overwhelming. Such a thing is depicted in a film called The Accused, where a gang rape occurs, and onlookers cheer, encourage, and pressure others into partaking. One more addition comes from Abigail. She says that Mikkel did rape Ilsa, and she came to Abigail for a poison.
Honest Mikkel violated Ilsa. She took her own life.
You profited from the poison.
It could be that Ilsa told Abigail that Mikkel was involved, but didn't tell her what she was going to do with the poison. She ended up committing suicide, but in Abigail's mind, she could have bought it to poison Mikkel. But more on Abigail later, because she's not exactly innocent in all this either. But I have to admit that this isn't definitive proof of Mikkel's guilt. I hope I'm not spoiling the game for anybody, but Mikkel does also have a history of rape. Later on in the game, you meet a prostitute named Carmen. Near the end of the game, if you made certain choices, Carmen tells you her story. She tells Geralt that she used to live in the Outskirts. She's the Reverend's daughter, and one day she was raped by Mikkel and the other guards. When she became pregnant, her father, the Reverend, disowned and exiled her. But remember that at this point in the game, you don't know about this. But the last thing I will say is that at the end of the quest, Mikkel apologizes to Geralt, and Geralt tells him to apologize to Ilsa. Mikkel doesn't deny the need to do that.
Mikkel, I need to enter the city. I have a pass.
I wanted to say I was sorry. I apologize, Witcher.
Apologize to Ilsa, Mikkel.
The Reverend. The Reverend is a priest of the Church of the Eternal Fire and a chaplain of the Order of the Flaming Rose. Despite just being a man of religion, he's also the leader of the people in the Outskirts. Abigail accuses him of banishing his daughter after she became pregnant. Now she works as a prostitute in Vizima.
The Reverend exiled his daughter when she became pregnant. Now she whores herself in Vizima.
I've already covered this, but it's only much later in the game that this information is verified. At this point, you have no one else to corroborate the story, and you find no evidence of the Reverend ever having a daughter. No one in the village ever talks about it either. I've mentioned that Salamandra kidnaps children, but it's not quite so simple. The people of the Outskirts have actually been giving them children as tribute.
Where's your tribute?
What tribute?
I mean the kids, fool.
After the confrontation with the local Salamandra leader, you find Alvin among other children. Alvin tells Geralt that it was the Reverend who told him to go here and meet the Salamandra agents.
Alvin, why are you here?
The Reverend sent me to this deserted house. He said someone would be waiting there for me.
That son of a... I'm glad you're safe.
The Reverend never attempts to deny or defend any of this.
Handing the children to Salamandra was dishonorable, Reverend.
I had no choice. Those bandits threatened to kill me.
But some people throughout the village claim that they are afraid of Salamandra, and that if they didn't do what they said, the consequences would have been severe.
Salamandra collect tribute from the villagers. Disobey, and they slit your throat, set your house ablaze.
Where can I find them?
Ask the Reverend. He'll decide what you should know, but I wouldn't mind them gone.
Farewell.
Yet Odo went to them for advice on how to kill someone. Brog profited from selling them goods, and no one tried to alert any authorities. The Reverend doesn't alert the Knights of the Order of the Flaming Rose. No one tries to alert the Viziman guards, preferably the greater Vizima guards from inside the city proper. Mikkel is a guard, and he tells Geralt that they have passes into the city, which means he's allowing a known criminal organization come and go as they please.
They have passes, they do. The only ones.
But he lies to get Geralt arrested, even after he helped him out.
Who do we have here, Mikkel? Is this the man we want?
Yes, sir, Sergeant, sir. It's that filthy freak, the Witcher.
A blasphemer and a counterfeiter, do I guess well?
Yes, he asked who's allowed into the city. Then came with that letter of safe conduct from the Order.
Well, if that's a knight of the Order, then I'm Princess Ada.
Son of a bitch.
They might have even been able to hire those mercenaries at the tavern, or come together to fight back against Salamandra. They kept going to Abigail for potions and poisons and such, but never asked her for any help either. Instead of doing any of that, they gave away their own children. I didn't see too many people broken up about it either. And the Reverend leads these people, so he knew. And who's to say he didn't encourage it or justify it in some way? Remember that you don't know this at this point, but, spoiler alert, Salamandra actually works for the Order of the Flaming Rose. This isn't to say that the chaplain necessarily knew of the inner workings of the Order, but he's a pious man. He'll follow orders from his superiors. Don't forget that the local Salamandra agents have passes to get into the city, and as an Order representative, the Reverend is the one who can give people passes, making it likely that they acquired the passes from him. If true, then even if the Reverend wasn't directed to, he's the one they have to go to in order to get passes.
Where might I get a pass?
The Order of the Burning Roses got passes. The Eternal Fire fights the plague.
I've seen no knights here. Would the Reverend know anything?
He knows a lot. Wouldn't hurt to ask.
I want to enter the city, but I need a letter, a pass of some sort.
Only Knights of the Order hold passes. But as chaplain, I have one.
May I have it?
You, a stranger, a drifter, have you lost your mind?
Abigail. Finally, we have Abigail, the village witch. The village has been organized into a lynch mob. Abigail is being blamed for the beast's existence and any other problems they can think of.
Why did you come here, Witcher?
Why are you here, witch?
I'm brewing up another spell. Why?
Lots of smoke in your magic.
Mighty ingredients make mighty spells. Mighty enough for the whole village.
Why are you doing this?
The angry mob has come. Burn the witch, they cry. She has summoned the beast. I must defend myself.
The Reverend even takes it a bit further and blames it on the nature of female kind.
Since the beginning of time, woman has been the nest of all evil. the tool of chaos, party to the conspiracy against the world and the human race. Woman is ruled solely by corporal lust. To satisfy her insatiable hunger and unnatural desires, she gladly serves demons.
He probably isn't forgetting about the multiple females who are in attendance. Despite this, however, she isn't exactly a Quaker in all this. Make no mistake, she's no saint. Like it was mentioned, the village collectively created the beast, and Abigail lives in this village too, and she doesn't deny her sins.
My sins are not as great as they say.
When she accuses everyone of their crimes, Geralt pushes back, saying that she knew all of this, but did nothing. Odo tells a story of how he accidentally wandered to Abigail's hut one night and saw the beast there, staring through her window.
The fog was so dense one time I strayed to the witch's house, where a great beast stared in her window.
Tell me more.
Well, I wasn't about to stay. I turned round so fast I nearly left my legs behind. But it was as big as a horse, billowed smoke and sparks like a hearth.
So the beast haunts her too. Why? She claims that she's only the supplier, not the criminal. She only gave them the means to.
Men summoned the beast with their wicked deeds.
I'm not surprised. Honest Mikkel violated Ilsa. She took her own life.
You profited from the poison.
Odo killed his brother for coin. The Reverend exiled his daughter when she became pregnant. Now she whores herself in Vizima. Heron sold a squirrel to the guards for gold.
You knew but did nothing.
They trade their gold for poisons and other potions. No business of mine how they're used.
It's clear why the beast haunts you.
I only sold them the nuclear weapon. It's not my business how it's used. Sure, I profited from it, but what am I gonna do about it? Gotta make a living somehow. Guns don't kill people, people kill people. That's her argument. Make of that what you will. But no matter how you slice it, she does share some of the blame, especially when you consider that she was the only witch in town. If she had denied them, where were they going to go? Even so, Odo didn't need her help to kill his brother. Harren didn't need her help to trade with Salamandra and the Scoia'tael. Mikkel didn't need her help to rape Ilsa. But Ilsa did need her help to commit suicide. There are many ways to kill yourself, however. Maybe if Ilsa wasn't able to get the poison, she may have reconsidered given time, or she would have tried to kill herself another way and either succeeded or failed. An entire bottle of poison was a surefire way, but jumping into the river is not. Most suicide survivors never try again. This is another argument that people often use when it comes to firearms. You can either get a gun and pop yourself in the head alone, ensuring your death, or you do something else, like overdosing on pills, but survive and regret the attempt. Also, let's not forget the accusations of Abigail using feminine charm to manipulate others, something I generally don't automatically believe women do, or even hold against them if they do. But if true in this case, some very bad things came from it, and Abigail does proposition Geralt.
I need to expose the guilty. Stay here while I speak to those outside.
Don't let them harm me. My sins are not as great as they say.
Really?
Learn for yourself if you like. We're alone. We have some time.
Now you could say that she was desperate. She didn't know what Geralt was going to do. She did it in an attempt to increase her chances of survival. That is an argument, but it also brings things into question. But no matter what, while there are some that are guiltier than others, there are no innocents in this story. So the question remains, who do you believe and what do you do? Well, you tell me. For me personally, I don't sleep with Abigail. I don't let them lynch her. 3 main people from the mob attack you, so I have to kill them. When she thanks you for saving her life, it ends the same way so many things end in the world.
Geralt, what would have happened to me without your aid? I'm glad you found it in yourself to believe me.
I chose the lesser evil.
I chose the lesser evil.